drunken hour, hooting at the clock. Welcome to our live stream, OG After Dark.
Oh boy, it is still technically Monday night here at Lenovo Center with 4 minutes to spare. What is up? It is Joe Ovias. That is Joe Giglio. It is another OG After Dark brought to you by our friends at Bloom and Blinds. And the fans in the building got their money's worth today. Nice start for the Canes, looking like things were going to be in a commanding 2-0 series lead with a 2-0 lead. Freddie Anderson looking locked in. A little puck luck going their way, right?
A lot of puck luck.
A whole ton of puck luck. But look, we've been told that this Ottawa team is legit. We've been told that this Ottawa team is a lot like the Carolina Hurricanes. And we saw in the second period and throughout a good chunks of overtime and double overtime, the Senators playing that game you knew they were capable of, and they were taking to the Canes a lot. And Linus Ullmark absolutely stood on his head, dude.
He was really, really good.
Really freaking good, robbing multiple Canes tonight. And we'll get into the controversial overtime goal that wasn't, thanks to the NHL and their replay review, which I still would like a further explanation as to what exactly they saw. But it took a Mark Jankowsku goal off the board. Martinook gets a penalty shot instead of a power play. That doesn't do anything. They go into double overtime, but Martinook, Joe, gets the game winner, the last laugh in this situation with, 6-0 something left in this game.
Yeah, I blame the NHL all the way around because 6-0-7 in the second overtime.
Mm-hmm.
I blame the NHL because they gave us that extra day off. So the second they made game 3 on Thursday, you knew we were getting fucking shenanigans tonight.
Yeah, you're right.
You're
right.
Knew it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And, credit to the Ottawa Senators. First of all, they fall behind 2-0, and it really did feel like it was closing time. They just played the semisonic. Is it semisonic?
Semisonic.
They just played the semisonic song, and I heard it in the second period when it was 2-0. And credit to Ottawa, they got a little bit of an odd angled goal to make it 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
From Dylan Cousins. And that was obviously one that Freddie would like back, but I thought Freddie was good. I thought Tim Stutzla, is that his name? Is that what we're calling him today?
Yeah.
He was fantastic in this game. He probably should have had 4 or 5 goals. I don't need the high danger Puckopedia or whatever the fuck people use to tell you.
Money puck, natural stat trick.
That motherfucker had about 4 posts. He should have scored it. He should have scored it like 6 times in this. He was fantastic.
Yeah,
he was fantastic, but could not buy a goal. And I thought the other big play in overtime, Amadio.
Hey, Amadio.
Are you making a pizza? I'm making a pasta. He hits a post in the second OT. I literally wrote down in my notes, how is that not a goal?
I don't know.
So I hope. While Freddie Anderson was good in this game, please do not confuse what I'm saying. Obviously, would like the Cousins with a Z goal back, but thought he was good in this game. Ottawa probably should have had 3 goals in the first period. Stutzla probably should have had 4 or 5 goals by himself, but that's not how it played out. And that Jordan Martinook, it was appropriate that he ended up scoring the winning goal because he had so many chances in this game. And it felt like a remix of all Hurricanes playoff overtime failures of previous years.
You had the chart, right? Because I came back because I was like, I guess I got to start setting this thing up somewhere, somehow. The game will end at some point, so let's get this thing going here for the After Dark. And I asked you, I'm like, we're past the point of no return, right? If they don't wrap this thing up within the first 10 minutes of an overtime in the playoffs, they're fucked.
Yeah, well, they had been.
But last year
they got one from Aho.
They got one.
And this year with Martinook, what a breakthrough for him finally there in the second overtime. And he missed he did get a penalty shot. We're going to need Mike Maniscalco to explain that one to me.
Yeah.
I think essentially what happened there was Jordan Staal, they called Jordan Staal offsides on review, but in real time they called a penalty after the offsides had occurred. So it still happens because you play on.
Yeah, I forgot
and you're
that.
still awarded the result of the penalty,
Right.
which in this case was a penalty shot, even though Jankowski scored with an extra skater on, that goal wasn't allowed, but the penalty was.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
Bizarre.
Again, logic,
I've never seen it before.
Logic does not apply to sports rules sometimes. And yes, my brain logically thinks, well, if the play is offsides, how are you going to award a penalty shot if there was no actual, there was no goal being negated by something, right? So I want to focus. That stuff is the wrinkle in the rules that sometimes sometimes you forget. As soccer fans out there would tell you, you might be so accustomed to VAR that once they go back through VAR, everything is negated after, right? So those are the subtleties in the sports. Not everything is the same, all right? That's fine. What I would love to – I have been wrong about replay.
Mm-hmm.
I am somebody who back in the day argued heavily for the inclusion of replay. The technology is there. Let's get the call right. Unfortunately, in the decade plus that we've been dealing with replay, we've gone so far in the other direction that I want to get rid of replay altogether because we are now breaking things down frame by frame rather and trying to get to like the letter of the law frame by frame rather than what the point is. The point of replay is for catastrophic error to be corrected. Clear, obvious mistakes that should be corrected. Get rid of challenges. Get rid of all that shit. Give me an eye in the sky and go from there.
Yeah.
Did you truly screw this up? Let's correct this. That's what replay is for. This business of offsides, which is a black and white call 9 times out of 10, should not come down to a subjective ruling by those in Toronto
who are saying he didn't control the puck.
That
right?
Even though Staal had possession of the puck before he crossed the blue line, because he skated back and then stuck his stick out, they argue that he lost control of the puck and then advanced it beyond the blue line while Martinook was offside.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, when you watch that in real time, that looks like any old run-of-the-mill hockey flow.
Like he has control.
He has control.
Which is why they didn't call it in real time.
Which was the right thing to do.
Okay.
So they challenge it, obviously. But again, the whole point of that review is to see if they got something egregiously wrong. And there was nothing about that Staal possession. Did he have it? Did he not? Did he lose it? That was egregiously wrong. In real time, it just looks like normal hockey. You don't know what Stahl's doing in that situation. He could be trying to pull a move. You don't know what he's doing. But when you start with no context and you're just going by frame, you end up with results like that. And you could tell, it's funny. I'm sitting here standing up here on the 5th floor, and I could tell the minute they got off the phone.
Oh, yeah.
The refs conferred, and you could tell by their body language.
How are we gonna get through this?
Shit.
And there was a full
soda
IPA. Was it a soda or an IPA?
Dude, if you're throwing a full-blown IPA from this building onto the ice, please contact us and advertise on the OG.
Since you have money to throw
Because
away.
if you've got money to throw a fucking IPA on the ice, you got enough money to sponsor this damn podcast. Shout out to Bloomin' Blinds, who does sponsor this podcast. Hit them up, bloominblinds.com.
I thought with the stain, the way that it was an IPA.
I thought it was a soda.
Okay.
I thought it was just like a Coke or a Pepsi or whatever.
That makes
whatever
more
it
sense.
was.
That makes
Whatever
more
it
sense.
was. And of course, making matters even worse, and I know why we end up having replays like this, because gambling ruins everything too in a lot of ways. Poor Cameron had the Janko anytime goal ticket. Vegas, you SOB.
The one thing I will say about hockey replay, unlike the NFL, they have a camera on each blue line.
They do.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to think about it, those type of replays, while going against the Hurricanes in this particular instance, have helped them in years past. Remember Boucher in the playoff series last year, like crying, or was it 2 years ago now, basically crying because Rod had challenged something and gotten a goal that had been overturned. So it works both ways. I believe it's now part of the game. I hear you. It's not the spirit of what replay is supposed to be. It's not
the spirit, man.
But I will give them at least credit for having the fixed cameras on those two lines, for knowing that it is now part of the game. And it's a call that I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know all the ins and outs of every offsides rule and all this other stuff. I thought the Hurricanes were able to recover from it. But again, the recovery really was the magical mystery tour that all of the puck luck. I just hope they didn't use all of their puck luck tonight.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Joe, you lose this game, you got a little bit of that tight butt all of a sudden.
You do.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You go up there, and it could come back here too. It absolutely could. But you lose tonight, and you're in a whole different position. You win this one the way that they did, and there was, I mean, I don't know if there's a Jose Serrano down there who blessed the pipes, or did the or a Don Bunning who did the. I don't know what it was because it was both ends.
The
too.
seance stuff.
It was both ends too.
The seance
And
stuff.
again, this is not me discrediting Freddie. This is me saying I thought Freddie was good other than one play, and you're allowed to have one play where you're not good. By the way,
Yeah, you're
in a
you're
game
allowed
full
that.
of all of them. I just thought there were multiple times where he did bother them, but even in the first, the first 50 seconds of the game when Stützle missed a wide open net.
Yeah.
In the first 50 seconds of the game.
It's
Joe, this is their best player we're talking about who missed like 6 wide the fuck open goals tonight.
Yeah. So here's the thing about I'm with you on Freddie, right? And essentially what I had jotted down as we were heading into overtime, depending on how this thing was going to go. My first thought was you've got 2 goalies that are playing outstanding, because if you just and I know you're not doing this, but two things have to go your way. He did make some great saves tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay. He made some great saves tonight. Did he also get some fortunate bounces?
Especially
yes.
in the first period. He was really good in the first period, Freddie was.
At one point, there was more, speaking of puck luck, because I jotted these down. At one point, it bounced over Freddie. It could have gone over him and into the net. It bounced on top of the net instead and then back, right? Again, it was that kind of night for him.
He had a kick save on Tkachuk in the first 5 minutes of the first overtime.
Yeah.
That was the biggest save of the night for him.
So, but the thing was, with the goalies playing as well as they did, I thought this game was going to come down to who took advantage of the chances that were presented to them. Okay. And for the big moments in this game, the Canes were the ones that were. That's how they got to that 2-0 lead, right? We're looking at 2 games in a row where Brady Tkachuk is being a dumbass, and it costs the Senators. In the first game, it put him in the box for 5 minutes. He had the embarrassment of losing to Jordan Staal by saying, "You want to go? You want to go? Don't break my heart, my achy breaky heart." Right? And then tonight, he does some.
Well, his first penalty
was
the
a
one
roughing
that the Hurricanes actually scored on.
Right. So you get
Stankoven.
you get the roughing, and it was another one. It was on Aho, and it was another one of these stupid tone setting situations that didn't work. It was the first power play of the game, and yes, Stankoven gets his goal, 13-29. Hall to Stankoven. By the way, Hall doesn't get enough credit for weaving that pass into a 3-man crowd where Stankoven was there, who ends up burying it, right? And then right after that goal at 11-11, I jotted down more Freddie magic as he lost the puck, and it gets behind him.
Yep.
Here's the puck luck.
Yep.
He contorts to get it before it slides past the line. There was another moment earlier in the game, too. This was at 17:04, where a fortunate break. Freddie blocks it. He blocks a couple of shots. This is to your point about him standing on his head a little early there, but it dribbled behind them. The Canes were able to skate it out, right, from the crease. But then there were 2 moments on the penalty kill that were huge. Svechnikov's first goal, which I know a lot of Canes fans will be like, there's your obligatory Svechnikov dumb penalty of the game, right?
Yeah.
And he had 2 quick in the first period. That first one, he almost acquitted himself because he came out of the box and he was a one-man wrecking crew right in front of Olmark, who made a great save.
Yeah.
Okay. But that was the first instance where, coming out of a penalty kill, the Ottawa Senators were caught a little flat-footed. Okay. And the Canes took advantage of it. In that case, it was specifically Svechnikov. And then on that second goal that resulted with a full ice rush where Staal fed it to Aho, Olmark, for whatever reason, was locked on Staal, got cooked in that situation, and Aho gets his first goal of the postseason. But again, that came out of, it wasn't a shorthanded goal, but it came out of a penalty kill where the Ottawa Senators looked a little discombobulated. And after that goal, I thought to myself, man, you just got, you had to pay for the Tkachuk penalty, and then you got sloppy again in a penalty kill, and you had to pay for that second time. I thought the Canes were going to cruise. I really did.
Yeah.
And from that point on, man, a lot of credit to Ottawa, because they easily could have wilted in that situation. And instead, they got stronger as the game went on. The Canes started to look more and more gassed. Ullmark got locked in, and Freddie started looking shaky. Yeah, that first goal, he lost it because, again, puck luck being the theme of the day, it was a weird bounce where Batherson collected his own pass off a block. Freddie lost it, and he buries it.
Yeah.
Right? And then, yes, the Cousins goal was one that was just, hey, man, a bad pass, soft pass, however you want to describe it. But he knew. You could tell by Freddie's body language that he wanted that one back immediately.
Yeah, it truly was a remix of all Hurricanes' previous overtime playoff games.
It was.
Only
You're
this
right.
one they actually won.
Mhm.
So maybe there is something to it this year. Maybe Lindy Ruff really is going to be the Jack Adams winner. I'm telling you, the vibes are immaculate because, you know, the late goal by Cousins, it was a funky, quirky goal. You get the call go against you in overtime after you think you've won it. The Svetch penalties, the over-aggressive, hey, you can't do that in the playoffs kind of penalties. Martinook, while yes, did finish the game for them, had several other opportunities to score in this game, including one where might have been Ullmark's best save of the game in the second period, where he made a bunch of like kind of got a piece of the puck type saves with his glove that after a while I'm like, hey guys, let's maybe shoot to the other side, not the glove side.
That again, you talk about Canes remixes. That was
it really was like
Yeah.
It was truly a remix of all of their playoff misery, and yet somehow it ends with them winning this hockey game, and in multiple overtimes. You know, their record now is 3-7 under Rod Brindamore in multiple overtime games. They had lost 7 in a row. They won the first, Brock Begin, back in 2019 against Washington. Then they lost 7 in a row, including the Matthew Tkachuk game here, the most demoralizing of all. And then last year they get the one against the Devils where Fishy scored the game winner. And now they get this one where Jordan Martinook ends up scoring the game-winning goal. Again, I thought Jordan Staal and Ehlers, they don't have a lot to show on the score sheet for what they did today. But I thought Ehlers was outstanding in this game. And I just continue to be impressed with the element that he adds to that line, because that's been the big missing piece for that line, is someone who can score.
So Canes are up 2-0. Okay. And I know, since this is not the Canes' first rodeo in the postseason, and we've already described this as a Canes postseason remix in game 2 of the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, I already know how the mentality is. I see a lot of it already in the YouTube comments, right? What you thought about goaltending might change a little bit based on Freddie's play tonight. I thought
he was good.
I don't necessarily disagree with. I don't necessarily agree with that. I know there's this anxious, because again, we've seen Freddie Anderson in the postseason, and we just assign a lot of things to the goalies if it doesn't pan out. And I can already see in the comments, well, maybe you go back to Bussy in game 3. I'm telling you right now, with the extra day and going back up there and a chance to take a controlling lead in this series, I do not see them going to Bussy in game 3.
I don't either.
I could be wrong. I know I see it in the comments. I respect it. I get it. But it's almost like we don't pay attention to Rod Brindamore and how he usually goes about these things, and how he usually goes with the playoff experience over everything else. And he's going to give Freddie Anderson another opportunity to get some of these things back, like the one that was a soft 5-hole.
I would say this. I absolutely expect Freddie to start game 3.
Yes.
Rod, I think, in so much as the way that he used my guy Kochetkov in the conference finals last year, I think he understood he probably should have played Kochetkov in game 4 of the first round last year.
Yeah.
And I think he will use Bussy in game 4 this year.
I could see that.
Because if you win Thursday, which you're set up to do, you even if you lose game 3, you can still afford to lose game 4, because we saw Freddie wear out as the playoffs went along last year, and he kind of sort of tacitly admitted it in that conference final round. Yes, I probably should have given him. I just because of the nature of Freddie and the way that he goes.
Yeah,
and he's just, quite frankly, at this point, not used to starting as many games in a row as he had to last year.
That's why you start him game 3 and not game 4. I'm with you on that.
Correct.
Like, again, because once
he also got an extra day.
Once you have that extra day baked in, I get it. He played 5 periods of hockey, or essentially 5 periods of hockey tonight. I get that. And the mileage concern is a real one. I totally understand that. But with that extra day to travel, get up to Ottawa, you're going to see him again with a chance to go up 3-0 in this series, which gets to the other part of the greatest hits, the Canes remix, the Canes inch noise, if you will, the reworking of all your greatest hits. Okay. At some point, Seth Jarvis needs to participate in the postseason. Yes. Yes. I mean, I understand that the negated overtime winner was Jarvis getting a shot on net that resulted in Jankowski burying it. I get that. But for the most part, not really somebody you thought about tonight in the grand scheme of things.
Well, that line continues to struggle.
Yep.
And you can get away with, again, you get away with it. If they lose this game 3-2, we're having a completely different conversation. What's wrong with Freddie?
Right.
What's wrong with the top line? Your
Right.
best players have to be your best players. What's going on with the power play? To me, I mean, I was being a smart ass, obviously, but Ottawa really does feel like the discount brand Hurricanes. And I'm mad at the puck daddy that he didn't tell me, yeah, you're right, they are. Because Ottawa's been struggling on the power play. And it's like, what do we know about all these years of the Hurricanes in the playoffs? Sometimes you get really good goaltending, and sometimes they never score on the power play.
Right.
I mean, Ottawa played a remixed version of the Hurricanes tonight.
Yeah,
too.
maybe there's that too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe there's that too.
It's just like I think they're a good team. I thought 71 in particular today stood out a little bit more. The dude who needs to buy a vowel in his first name, Ridley Greg. Greg. But 18 Stutzlow was fantastic today. But they're not, and the Wolf Blood. Can you be Wolf Blood in hockey? Jeff Sanderson, the Whale Blood? Is it Whale Blood?
It's Whale Blood.
Whale Blood.
Whale Blood.
Jake Sanderson.
Although don't get PETA on us. You got to be careful.
Son on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We'll just call him Wolf Blood.
Okay.
Jake Sanderson, he's outstanding as well. The son of Jeff Sanderson, former Hartford Whaler, former Carolina Hurricane. Sanderson's obviously very good. I'm basically telling you who their good players are right now. I get that. But again, we have not spent the year watching the Ottawa Senators.
No, we haven't.
Okay.
We haven't. Let's be real about this.
I have seen the Hurricanes a whole lot this year. I've seen a lot of different teams a whole lot this year. I have not. These are the first 2 times I've seen the Ottawa Senators this year. And in game 1, I did not see a whole lot of skill that I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Played hard. They were hitting. They were physical. We all know about Kachuk. And even he's a discount version of his brother, if you really think about it. But it was like, oh, okay. Even Ullmark, we've seen Ullmark in the playoffs before.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not our first time seeing Ullmark in the playoffs. I thought he played at a different level tonight than even game 1.
Agreed.
And obviously anything we saw when he was in Boston and the Hurricanes were chasing him out of the net and essentially cost him his job.
From Mike, Ovi is intentionally moving around to show off the new camera.
His camera, guys.
No, you guys just don't realize how much I move
fancy
when I do this stuff. So it just so happens that we have. So the low light's better though, isn't it?
I'm not gonna lie, man. Like this feels a little bit too. This is like me walking into the Baileys. I'm like, are you sure? You sure we're supposed to be here? You sure this is us? This fancy high tech shit.
I
You
know.
sure that's us?
I'm excited about this. I'm excited about these new
Is
cameras.
this from the Bank of OVS or is this from the Bank of the OG?
These are Ernie Ovia's memorial cameras.
Okay,
even
but
though
he's
he's still with us.
I figured that might be a Bank of OVS.
Yeah, these were Bank of Ovia's purchases. If we end up getting 2 more for the studio, they don't always
Bank of the OG.
They don't always have to move. It's just because it's not a static location like the studio.
Right.
I could just keep them static in the studio.
Are. Yeah.
But they're super fancy. They're super nice.
Yeah, open the pod bay door, Hal. Like,
Anyway,
this is very futuristic of us.
Mike Maniscalco is going to join us here at some point when he's done with his TV duties. He'll drop on by and do the thing. As always, brought to you by Bloomin' Blinds. Check them out online at bloominblinds.com. Tell them the OG sent you. Chris is going to have something for you, which is very, very important. In the meantime, let's go to the OG Sports Phone.
919 444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
All right, let's go to a 336. This is from earlier in the day. I think it's before we get to some of the ones that came in tonight, I think this one's also relevant to what we saw tonight with goalies, since goalies were definitely the storyline, part of the storyline of tonight.
Hey, Joe and Joe, runner-up Steven here, just enjoying a nice, cool Monday morning, and got to give props to the plenty of Buffalo Sabres fans who are listening. That was a hell of a comeback. Speaking of the Cup playoffs, kind of interesting how it seems like a lot of teams are having goalie issues that going into the first game or maybe now tonight into the second game, we didn't expect them to have. Swayman probably being the biggest one. That was a really, really bad period. Vasilevsky was terrible late in that game for Tampa Bay. So seems like goalie issues are running amok in this year's playoffs. Love you guys. Talk to you later.
Yeah, look, goalies are funny in that we treat them like we treat quarterbacks in the NFL. And y'all know by now, if you've listened to the podcast long enough, you know I rail against the footballification or the NFLification of all sports. It doesn't all come down to one position. And I think when all you're asking of Freddie Anderson, or really any goalie right now, but specifically for the Canes, all you're asking of Freddie Anderson is, can you go out there and win the Canes a game? And I think he did that in game one.
He did. Absolutely.
Okay. Tonight was a little more hit or miss. Was he good overall? Yes. Did he get some fortunate bounces? Also, yes. But you're not going to get through a series. You're not going to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals without getting a few breaks that go your way. You know, you call it Canes remix night tonight. There were moments tonight that I was transported back to Invisalign or Garner or The Factory as I'm watching, like, how did the puck not go in? And and I've seen it plenty of times with Jacob's team where it's like, how the hell did that puck go in? I don't understand. It never works for us, right? It never works in our favor.
Yeah.
Like, we got bounced out of a tournament in Buffalo because the puck bounced a dumbass way in an outdoor rink. What are you going to do? It didn't bounce for us that way. We ended up losing 1-0. That's hockey. That's why I maintain that hockey is one of the dumbest sports on the planet, because the puck's just going to bounce a funny way, and it's going to change everybody's fortunes. Okay.
Yeah, to your point, Allmark was the superior goalie tonight, but he did not win.
He did not win.
His team did not win. So what did that ultimately get you?
So there's also, and I think this is more interesting too, I'd be curious to hear what the players had to say or what Rod had to say after the game, in that I felt like the Canes, speaking of watching junior Canes hockey, I felt like the Canes spent most of the time falling on the ice. They couldn't get a clean pass. They couldn't clear out the zone. I love my son, but he falls on the ice a lot because the ice is slippery. And there were times out there that I thought I was watching my own kid because they couldn't stay up. And again, I don't know if they were gassed. I don't know if it was an ice thing. It just was not a clean period of hockey for the Canes. And despite it all, because again, you're not going to get through series clean every single time, they still found a way to win, which is all that matters.
And I can already tell you, when they get to Ottawa, one of the talking points will be about how much better the ice is at Ottawa.
I'm sure.
You are like,
no, you're right.
I have 06
You're right.
flashbacks to Edmonton.
You're right.
Right? Like, Edmonton was like, man, that ice sucks, and our ice is so much better than yours.
Yeah. Well,
And it's like, yeah, I get it, guys.
It's been unseasonably warm here. Stop it already. All right, let's go to a 704.
Hey guys, it's Paul. Jesus Christ, finally. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad the Hurricanes won, but this endless 5-on-5 hockey overtime bullshit has got to stop. Okay? I sat through the 2023 one where they played Florida for fucking a whole nother hockey game. Like, this is not good. This is not good for anyone. And those players are not meant to play 4 hours of hockey, okay? And like the building half emptied out. On TV it looked like half the bottom was empty because, people got to go to fucking work tomorrow. All right? A game that starts at 7:30 has no business ending at 11:45. All right? Fuck this shit. Play 3-on-3. You know what? You can have 5-on-5 for the first overtime, but 3-on-3 for the second overtime, and anyone after that, please, I'm begging you. I can't keep doing this.
Okay. First and foremost, Paul, love you, mean it, but no. In the postseason, this is how it has to go. If you wanted to complain and you wanted to get home earlier, what I would suggest to the NHL is, I don't know, call a penalty. That would be helpful.
No, those protocols were in full effect.
You want to talk about the consistency factor from the first period and then the rest of the game? I mean, it had to be blood on the ice for you to get something called at some point.
I'm not going to lie to you. I would be in favor of a 4-on-4 overtime from the start. I'll be honest.
Not the worst idea. But yeah, to me, it's just more along the lines. I mean, I get it. The whistles get swallowed in the postseason. But at some point, there were a couple times where Jackson Blake, if that's not interference, I don't know what is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they didn't call it. But again, I have to remind myself. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot.
Now, they did call the one penalty on Martinook.
On Martinook. Or the penalty
caused,
shot.
Yeah,
the penalty
they
shot.
Did call one.
Okay. Yeah, let's go to an 832.
This was, according to ESPN, according to the rules analyst for ESPN, this was the rule. This is the ruling from Toronto, as he called Toronto. The offside was on Jordan Staal. Both of his legs were across before he had control. They said he had possession, but he did not have control. That's the same fucking thing. I have no idea. I didn't realize Merriam-Webster changed the fuck.
Whoa. I'm going to pause right there. They said he had possession but didn't have control? Is that what they said?
Yeah, we do not have the benefit of listening to the broadcast.
All I can do is
anything explained to us while this is all going on.
All I can do is see the replay, right? I can see the replay here and I can see the replay on my computer, but I don't have the sound up. Did they really say? I don't have to go back, and I guess I can run it back on Hulu tomorrow morning, or Maniscalco can tell us when he gets over here. You can't say you have possession but no control. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, he continues.
In the last 30 fucking minutes with that. Thank God we won the damn game. Thank God Freddie Anderson saved that. One hell of a save. Just him, the goaltender. That's one hell of a save for that. But I according to the city of Toronto, according to Canada, I guess they speak a whole different fucking language up in Canada. I guess they speak Canadian of whatever. I mean, we get their damn geese. Do they speak the same language? Is that the only way that they can actually communicate as human beings? It's the same damn thing. It's the one problem I have with this entire thing. Other than that, I was listening to the radio in my car. I should have never been able to watch the damn game. Stupid. Glad we won. Holy cow. And then they went to the refs and complained about scoring. They were complaining about something. You son of a bitch. The league's trying to give you a goddamn game and you're fucking bitching about it? Son of a bitch. I wanted to sweep them. I don't even want them to enjoy anything in Ottawa. I want the series to be over on Saturday. I don't know what game 4 is. I want it to be over with. I swear to God, I absolutely hate the Ottawa Senators right now. Like, they are absolutely public enemy number 1. They're awful. Pathetic. And I hope they are miserably awful for the rest of its existence. All right, I'm done.
So, as somebody in the YouTube comment pointed out, Elliot Friedman posted that on Twitter, that the video review indicated Jordan Staal had possession but not control when his skates went over the blue line. Joe, you're the English guy. You're the writer. I know you like to bust my balls about words mean things, so use the right ones. And I'm really struggling to understand the difference between possession and no control.
Is this like Des Bryant in the playoffs?
Did he make a football move?
Did he make a hockey move?
Well,
is that what we have here?
I think you joke, but I think that's ultimately what they're going to rely on here. In that, if you break it down, and this is my issue, if you break it down frame by frame, which is not in the spirit of the rule, not the point of things like replay, if you break it frame by frame, then yes, you can make the argument that Jordan Staal isn't making a hockey move, that he wasn't advancing the puck while having control, that in frame by frame, there's a moment where a brief moment where he loses control of the puck as he's going over the blue line, regains it after the fact, and therefore makes himself offside or Martinook offside, whatever. But this is if you want to maintain replay, there's a real simple solution here. Get rid of the frame by frame and replay these things in real time at full speed, so that if you didn't catch it the first time, you can go back and watch it, and you can go back and watch it as intended, as the game is actually being played, not in a frame by frame situation that results in a bullshit call like that. To me, it was just bullshit.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't have that much of a problem with the call. I mean, I feel like we've seen a lot of these in the playoffs, the offsides things, and they almost always, like I always tell you Tarantino, the podcast, they almost always come out of order, right? Like Zed's dead, baby. And it's like, shit, who the hell's Zed? I can't remember.
Hey,
from the first scene who Zed is.
9 times out of 10, the podcast comes out correctly when I have Tarantino things. Every so often, I do get one that doesn't. Although, as Guinness Toucan points out, possession is 9/10 of control. It's a good point. It's a very good point.
Yeah, again, I don't have a problem with the way that it played out. I do think the Hurricanes got one in game one. I think the overturned goal is 99% of the time that's a goal. And I think they got a call in game one. So I don't know if Toronto was, maybe to your point, where they keeping their own score. Like, hey, we kind of piped Ottawa the other day. We owe them. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not going to go that far. I'm just saying, like, I didn't have a problem with the call itself.
Gotcha.
I know what you're saying about it's not necessarily the looking at it at that speed.
Yeah, it's not
how
it's not the right
was supposed to.
It's not the right thing. All right, let's take one more phone call while we set up Mike Maniscalco.
It's supposed to bullshit. I don't know. I look at the replay. He's got control of the puck. His skate is clearly on top of the blue line, unless the national crew is got all screwed up. But according to them, that's all it takes. I don't know what they're looking at. If they think it's ambiguous, it's ambiguous. I don't know what the heck's going on. But bullshit. I don't know. Thanks, Jez. I'll listen to whatever you have to say later. Adios.
We agree. We agree. Mike Maniscalco, Canes play-by-play, joining us now on the Heister Automotive Group microphone at Lenovo Center. Mike! What did Toronto do? Let's talk. We were talking about the offsides thing, which I'm like, I think you and I are in agreement. I think you and I are in agreement here. Like, if we're gonna do replay, like, let's do catastrophic errors. Like, the whole point of replay, did you truly screw something up, rather than this ticky-tack frame-by-frame stuff in real time? I don't understand the concept of you had possession but no control.
Yeah,
you either had possession or you didn't.
Yeah, that used to be the thing, that the possession was control. And you're going to tell Jordan Staal, you had possession, but you didn't have control. But then you make that pass to Jordan Martinook. Look, this is a league. I go all the way back to, I did a post-game show in a playoff game where a player scored a puck through the side of the net, ended up being a game-winning goal. This is not here, not in Canes land.
Yeah, I was going to say,
this is in a way other life.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. And they had replay, but they weren't going to go look at it because they're like, well, it was a good goal on the ice. What do you want us to do? It went through the side of the net, and this league said, good goal.
Good goal.
And it ended a playoff game. Okay. Look, the thing about replay is there's never going to be like the happy medium. It's either going to be we're going to find some way to break it down and go excruciatingly frame by frame, like what happened in baseball with now it's we're going to challenge this. Oh, look, we waited. Now you really are out, even though on the bang bang play you weren't. I'll just say it. They got the call wrong. That should not have been offside. The game should have been over there.
But the puck does not lie, and Martinook gets his revenge.
That's why.
And here we are.
Yeah, this would be.
You know the real reason why.
Why?
Lindy Ruff really is going to
win the Coach of the Year. That's right. Wow. You just let it happen right away. Well, I mean, they got the comeback win over Boston, although it doesn't include the playoffs. It's the regular season. I hate how that offside rule has become bastardized the way that it did. And it started because a few years ago, like where they really got to it, Colorado, a player was 6 feet offside.
Yeah.
And again, we can break down a ton of things in other sports. The instant replay now on pitches in baseball. Like if it's 1/10 of an inch off of the plate, I'm like, that should still be a strike. I mean, because I don't know if I can trust the full setup. But this thing here, we were looking at Martinook and his skates onside. So I'm like, all right, well, where are we going now? And they're going to say it's possession of the puck. And look, there's a lot of refs out there online who are going to say, oh, this is what happened. I've seen that where a player has gotten his skates in, had the puck, lost the puck. It's on the other side of the blue line, and they're like, "Oh no, it's good. It's one sweeping play that you consider it's possession." This league, and if I get fined for this, I'm sure I'll have to pay it. But the
NHL's not listening to our podcast.
But no, the thing that kills me about this league is how they can take something that can be black and white and make it gray.
Thank you. That's my thing. It shouldn't be a subjective call for something like offsides.
No.
And you made it subjective by going into possession versus control and everything with that. But again, we've run that thing into the ground. It's all water under the bridge anyway because the Canes ended up pulling this thing out.
They won the game.
They won the
bigger
game.
deal if they lose this game.
I was going to say
you can overcome never forget. You can overcome bad calls if you stick with it, which is what the Canes did. Because I don't know about you, Mike. That third period gave me a lot of worry in how Ottawa was leaning real hard in on the Canes. And it looked like they had just taken this thing all the way back from where we were at the beginning of this game, where it looked like the Canes were going to cruise tonight. So a lot of credit to Ottawa for sticking with this thing and making the Canes look a little step slower there. There in the third period. But the Canes found a way to win.
Look, Ottawa's a good team.
Yeah.
And they're one of these teams that you go to like January 1st, they've come from almost, DFL in the East to make this push, which is why all of clearly the Canadian pundits, and once again, I think I said this with you, Joe, if you haven't figured it out, Canadian media is going to pick Canadian teams over American teams.
Every time.
Yeah. But
every time.
This is a good team. Tim Stützle is a hell of a player. Like if
how many goals should he have had tonight?
Oh boy. I can do the same thing like Taylor Hall. Like Linus Ullmark played out of his skull. The biggest thing that I take out of what you just mentioned in that third period is the Dylan Cousins goal that ties it at 2. That's the one where you're like, oh boy, that's this is where I'll be kind. That's
you want it back.
leaky, and it's one that you got to have back, right?
Freddie's body language alone told you he knew you wanted it back.
But the fact that, and he got a couple of posts, but he just left it there and went right back to, you're not getting anything past me. You're gonna need, it's gonna be on me if you get something past me.
The kick save on Tkachuk at the start of the first overtime was huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I said there was a lot of puck luck tonight, and I hope Freddie didn't use all of it. I hope the Hurricanes didn't use all of their puck luck tonight. I really do. But there were other plays that Freddie made tonight, to offset the one play that he didn't make. We've been saying this is like a remix of the last 8 years of all the things that we've seen, right? And it really, I kind of feel like it applies to the Senators too.
Yeah.
Because I say in game 1, I think the Hurricanes got a call that helped them. The goal that was disallowed. You and I, we talked about it in real time. That feels like a goal 99 out of 100 times, especially called on the ice.
Right.
Yeah.
In this one, I could see what you're both saying. I thought the Hurricanes reacted to it the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was glad to see Martinook be the one who finished this game.
Now, real quick about that call.
Hockey gods are real, by the way.
No, I
in other sports, I don't know, but hockey gods are.
I know,
did you really think that was a goal in game 1?
I did.
After replay?
I did.
Okay.
Because it was called a goal.
I get that. And you have
it wasn't really Joe, I'm looking at this. Mike said Mike said on our show, there are replays that they show from Toronto that we don't get.
See. Okay.
And Mike said definitively it was not a goal.
Yeah.
In my brain, all I was thinking was they called it a goal on the ice. We've seen this a bunch of different times.
Yeah, and it's tough to overturn if you don't have clear. But based on what I was able to see on television, I got the sense that there's no real good way to show you that it actually crossed the line.
Yeah,
and that's
why
the definitive proof that the whole puck.
And there wasn't there.
And Freddie Anderson even told us It never went into the pocket of the glove.
Yeah,
it
it
stayed.
bounced.
It stayed
It bounced.
out front. And look, these
It's like a
guys.
Seinfeld episode.
Hang on, goalies know to the millimeter where the puck is on plays like that.
They know where it is based on the sound of the puck hitting the pipe.
But
if
we're gonna get in all this, because I know that people are gonna have their takes on officiating. You just look at it this way. Okay, so the Canes got one in game 1. They didn't get one in game 2.
That's what I'm saying.
But you're still up 2-0.
And you're up 2-0.
Heading up to Ottawa. And Ottawa, if they do not win game 3, I don't know if we're coming back for game 5. The way that this is going.
So Okay, so game 3, that takes us. Let's go forward on this. On what we're gonna get up.
We get the
Ottawa
extra day
on Thursday.
Yep.
What do you do?
I blame the NHL for this overtime because they knew. Oh, we're giving you motherfuckers an extra day. So
I think it was going to be a day off tomorrow anyway. That anyway you sliced it. So at least we don't have to get on a plane. We get the extra day to do some more laundry and get ready to go. Yeah.
What do you think they do in net? I say with the extra day, you go back to Freddie.
It's Freddie. Yeah, it's Freddie. And then I know that this is going to be a question all postseason.
Oh, when's Bussy
no
going to get
happens. Yeah. No, it's you play Freddie in game 3.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Not even a question, not even a hesitation. And then here's where you have the luxury. If you don't like how game 3 goes, right? And I'm not going to say it's a lot. I'm just saying you don't like how game 3 goes.
Yeah.
You can then say, okay, Brandon Bussy, you get Saturday afternoon in Ottawa to close out the series, or have us come back up 3-1, whatever it would be. So you have. I think those options are going to be on the table, but I think as long as there's rest, Frederik Andersen is going to get the benefit of the doubt. I have seen nothing, and I know that Dylan Cousins' goal is going to give Canes fans that little, that tick. And I get it. But like I said, he moved on from it. It wasn't like he allowed the Cousins goal and then Batherson's goal happens. And you're like, well, where is his head at for this one? He answered. He answered every question for me,
which we've seen him allow it to get to him before.
And I think that's why this is let's turn the page on that story. It's a different chapter this year.
And the Batherson goal was just, again, puck luck goes both ways.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to center the puck, I think, to Kachuk, and it goes off of Jacob Slave and skate right back to him.
Right back to him.
And, like, you can see, like, Frederik Andersen, like, what?
Yeah.
I was supposed to be here?
Yeah, and the replay, you can see where he loses sight of the puck, which is clearly obvious to do there. So the other thing, and I know we got Will here in the YouTube comments pointing out, where did it go? Here it is. We got killed in faceoffs tonight.
Yeah, well,
and in game 1.
This goes back to game 1, where at least on special teams, not winning the faceoff was a bit of an issue. But then again, we had another night where the officials just wanted people to do the dance in the faceoff circle. Speaking of vibes, I mean, again, I don't want to make this all about officials. We can just talk about the straight fact that the Canes have not. I'm sure this has to drive Rod insane.
Sure,
with the faceoffs.
But I'll go back to overtime. Number 1, Canes started winning some offensive zone draws late in that overtime. So that's encouraging. Look, Claude Giroux is one of the best faceoff men in the league. Ridley Gregg's pretty good at it. Shane Pinto's very good at it. Dylan Cousins can win you a draw here or there. Stützle's gotten very good at it. They got really good faceoff guys. This becomes a problem when those faceoffs are turning into goals.
Yeah.
That has not happened yet in this series. That's when it does. And who knows? Maybe it happens in Ottawa. I do wish they would change how they determine a win or a loss on the faceoff, because I have asked and I've never gotten like the truly official confirmation. But say you and I are in the faceoff circle, you draw it back away from me. Well, the fact Joe Ovi's pushed the puck back, he gets credit for the win. But if Joe Giglio is my winger and the puck goes off the boards and he gets it, well, we've got possession.
Who actually won the
faceoff. So who won? Yeah. So I wish that faceoffs would be a team stat. They never will be. There's like quarterbacks get wins, centers, and whoever takes the draw, you're going to get. But like there are times, and the Canes have done this year, where they have lost the draw intentionally. Like I'm not going to win the draw, but here's what's going to happen. Player X is going to win it back clean. You dive in and get to it. And it's still a face-off loss, despite the fact you come with a puck. I'd like to know the 50-50 puck battles. Those all become subjective anyway. The Canes aren't getting beat on those in this series. They're not. So the face-off issue, it's a bigger, for me, a much bigger problem in two areas. Like I said, you start giving up goals off of the face-off, and then on power plays, you're watching it go down the ice. You're doing what you do to other teams. You've got to go and get it in 23 seconds is off the clock before you start.
That was the big problem in game one. You can't be a puck possession team if you don't possess the puck.
Right.
We'll start selling some of these sayings on hockey shirts, by the way.
Secret stash.
Yeah. No, these are all things that it's okay to talk about right now.
Yeah.
With the luxury of a 2-0 lead.
Right.
Right. If you don't win tonight, now all of a sudden you're 1-1.
Sure.
And you're sitting here going, hey, Freddie was good, but man, that Cousins goal.
Right.
Then you're sitting here going, man, what's wrong with the Aho line? Then you're going, shit, we can't win a faceoff. Then, all these other things. Like, how many times have we seen Martinook almost be the hero in the playoffs? Almost, right? Instead, you're sitting here going, it's 2-0. We've already had more bounces than we've had in the previous fucking 7 years, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it.
All right. How many coaches press
Goalie's
conferences?
been good.
How many coaches press conferences? I don't care what sport have you been at in your life, Joe? What, over 1,000, over 5,000?
Sure. But
this so far is a coach's dream, because exactly what Gilio just said.
Yeah.
We're up 2-0, and there are things where the coaching staff can be like, look, guys, this has to get better. Lock this up.
Yeah.
This ain't acceptable with what we're doing. And that's like, coaches, you always hear it.
Yeah.
Coaches are miserable when their teams are winning and it looks perfect because they have nothing to bitch about. Well, there are things to fix. And again, I really feel we're slighting Ottawa. They're a good team. And they came in. And
They are
I
a
get
good
why.
team.
I get why
they played better today.
I get why people were picking them, but then again, have you watched the Canes? They got 113 points. This is what they do. This is their jam. They don't worry about any of this. This
the
crap,
answer to
and
that.
we move on. Yeah, I know, but
You know the answer to that.
it's if we get to Thursday and the Canes put the game that we've seen we had 5 periods tonight. We'll just call it that.
Yeah.
If they put the game for what we've seen for 6.5 of the 8 periods we've seen, they put that on the ice in Ottawa, it's going to be 3-0 after the third game, unless Linus Ullmark goes to another level where he doesn't allow a goal.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he's getting there.
I don't know how he's getting there.
He was unbelievable.
He was great today.
He was the story of the game. Even at 2-0, he was the save he makes.
Martinook.
The save he makes on Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
When it's 2-0 and Hall's got an empty, and somehow in an empty net he comes out of nowhere and makes the save. That gives Ottawa a chance to get back in the game. The save he makes on Staal, at the end of regulation, where he makes the circus shoulder save to knock that one away.
It was the people in front of him who ultimately let Ullmark down tonight.
Yeah.
I think he did everything he was supposed to do.
Well,
the first goal is a power play goal because Brady Tkachuk decides, once again, I'm going to try to do stuff to, quote unquote, set the tone. He gets that roughing on Aho that results not too long after in the power play goal for Stankoven, which is great. And then I'm sure you guys noted this and probably went into more detail about this, but Svechnikov, he went into the box first, but he comes out of the box and almost becomes the one-man wrecking crew we know he can be, and turns that thing into a penalty kill that turns into a goal. Not a shorty, but boom, boom, boom. You're catching Ottawa flat-footed in that situation, and you almost cashed it in. And then in the second goal, which was that full-ice rush with Staal and Aho, where Ullmark, for whatever reason, if he was to make one crucial mistake, he was oddly locked in on Staal in that situation, rather than focus on the fact that it could redirect to Aho. Aho gets the goal, right? But again, that was practically a shorthanded goal. It happened at the end of the penalty kill. Ottawa was a little flat. I put that more on the players in front of Ullmark more than anything else. He was outstanding altogether.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we could really do this show in Ottawa right now, just so you know.
What do you mean?
Think about it.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen Sebastian Aho play the game that Stutzla played tonight?
And not come away with anything?
And you're sitting here going, this is our best player.
Yeah.
I promise you this is our best player.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, we the first 2 or 3 years that Fishy played in the playoffs,
Yeah.
it was like, hey man, hey, we need you to be regular season Fishy, right?
Allow me to get a plug for one of my other day jobs, the podcast I do with Shane Willis, Canes Cast. We famously say we're like psychiatrists. We have a couch. Come lay on the couch. We're going to calm all of your fears. The one thing I'm starting to watch about how this series is going to go, very much like last year's series against New Jersey, where the Devils got so beat up on the back end, and you can only play. I don't care how talented your players are, but when you're starting to play 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 29 minutes, 2-3 guys playing that, by the time you get to game 4, game 5, what do you have with the legs? And then Thursday into Saturday, it's the reverse of what the start of this series was. You go from the late game to the early game. There's going to be less recovery. And this is a team right now. I don't know if Artem Zub is going to come back for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tyler Clevin, and look, these guys aren't going to win the Norris Trophy or make all-star teams.
No, but
you're missing regular
just like
defensemen.
Jersey last year.
Just like Jersey did last year.
Yep.
And then these shifts, these games, you go 2 overtimes. The real loss for Ottawa is the amount of time that you had to play Thomas Chabot and Jake Sanderson in this series. And you're going to get to a point where you're going to get into a game and, maybe mentally they're fried from all of the hockey that they play.
I was just about to say, how many minutes did the Wolf Blood play tonight?
He
Because
was on the ice nonstop, man.
Whole game.
So before we say goodbye,
I think 41 and I think 39.
39-50.
Yeah.
Nuts.
And Sanderson's a really good player.
Yeah.
A really good player.
Before we let you go,
But that's even strength.
you don't-
Sorry.
you don't
Total
sleep,
ice
so it's
time,
all good.
43
I'm
minutes.
good.
43:06.
Yeah.
that's nuts.
Yeah.
So going back to what you were talking about, how this is a coach's dream. You're up 2-0 in the series, but that you could be so much better in different aspects of the game. What are we not seeing with Jarvis specifically?
That's this one tonight, like game 1, you can be like, I know Ottawa probably did some things and
Sure.
that whole line wasn't the way they were supposed to be, except for then you look back and you're like, Andrei Svechnikov was a man possessed in game 1.
Yeah.
And he was the exact same thing here tonight. I didn't like the second penalty call on him, the whatever interference, fine, whatever. But now you got Sebastian Aho going, and I think it just might be a confidence thing with him, where you want it so damn bad that
he does
that you start fighting everything.
Yeah.
And it's the most counterintuitive thing. Like, trust me, under these dusty law books, there was a time where I could play games, and not great, but I could. And Gilio, when you're golfing, like the more that you're like, I gotta lock in and I gotta make this putt, the more you're gonna miss it. The more it's gonna go right into the dumper.
Trying to get laid in high school.
It's not happening.
The harder you try, the harder it is.
Well, sadly, for more ways than one. But I think that's that situation right now. There you go. Put that one.
It's like
definitely.
trying to get into high school.
Back in the day.
Although I've read they're not in high school anymore.
It's counterintuitive, but every fan out there knows it. And if you ever played any game, I don't care what it is, a board game or a game that takes physical skill, the more you press, the worse it gets. And I'm not going to do the quicksand from the replacements, the great, that's the real Keanu Reeves quarterback movie for us all, Shane Falco. But what I am going to say is I think Seth Jarvis is a player who cares so much that it then becomes trying to do too much instead of do little, do less, do less. Yeah, I hate this. This is all the crap we've ever heard.
You can't hit a grand slam
managers
home run every time.
Right. You not going to do it. You can't do it. So it turns into the do less better. Like, don't, and we'll see what happens from there. But I'm going to go and give, hey, look, Ottawa's got some good players that you're going up on the ice against. And I think that it's a little bit of the trying to do too much. And now your confidence is like, why hasn't it happened yet?
Yeah.
So
I also think the Hurricanes have the potential to ham and egg this thing in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Then they have a deep run in them. The guys who are playing well right now, if I could get into the crystal ball here, tell me, future boy. Stankoven, they're running hot right now.
Yeah.
You know, could we be sitting here in a month, you know, getting ready to play the Canadians or whoever and be like, yeah, man, Aho and Jarvis have 8 points in the last 6 games. But Stankoven and Blake, they, you know, after that first series, they don't have a goal since the first series. We've seen this before, man.
But the thing for me now is there's, I think, more of that depth to it where, all right, you ran your leg of the race.
Yes.
Now the baton is
exactly.
And as opposed to, well, if you aren't getting it here, where are you getting it from?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that Staal, Martinook, and Ehlers, don't fall asleep on what that matchup can do for you. And again, I don't think this is a fluke. I don't think the Stankoven line's going anywhere, guys, because they've been this way since February 26th. 60 points. They're like a ridiculous, it's like a plus 37 as a line combined.
I just put it that we've seen this before, this kind of formula of Matt Cullen, right? It was like, oh, well, the second series, Matt Cullen all of a sudden was with Whitney and looking great, right? Justin Williams. It's like, oh shit, is it game 7?
Well,
Here comes Justin Williams.
It takes a village.
It does.
We've already made one reference going back to high school, but I'm going to go to the other one. I don't care where it's coming from as long as you're still getting it.
Right.
So, you know, it's not, you know, I'm just going to put it in those terms. That's for everybody. If you're, I'll try to play this for everybody because I made a comment once on a podcast about doing laundry. If you ever wanted to get out of laundry, and then it turns into a very, you know, terrible thing to say. So if you're not going to bag the quarterback, you know what? The offensive lineman's still there for you.
Right there.
And then the other way, however you want to put
we're going places on this one.
Well, are we? Hey, it's after dark. Why
It is
can't
after
we?
dark. It's almost 1 o'clock.
There you go. So this is where I do my best work.
You said Matt Cullen, Joe. Fun fact, Logan Stankoven, 5th player in Hurricanes team history to open a postseason with goals in his first 2 games. He joined Steph Nason in 2023, Nino Niederreiter in 22, Matt Cullen back in 06, and Eric Cole back in 2002.
Well, of course, he couldn't play much in 06, but we got the boost from the end.
There was that. And, of course, the only player in franchise history who posted a longer run was Pat Verbeek.
Ooh.
3 goals.
Definitly played with Jeff Sanderson.
Back in
the Wolf Blood, if you were confused.
No, I got it. I got it.
Because we decided Well Blood doesn't.
No, I don't want Pete on us.
No.
Yeah.
So do we start with this Logan Stankoven start and the way they've been playing? Do we start a Miko meter?
I'm sure it's out there already.
You think the Miko meter's already out there?
Yeah, if you haven't, I'm sure it's out
Did they
there.
win? I don't think
they were up 3-2 last time.
Did he score, though? Did he score? That's the question. That is the question. All right, Mike, we appreciate it. You are earning your bourbon this postseason, sir. I got a new good one, too, by the way.
Ooh.
Shout out to Chris. He gave me something from...
Oh, he did. Yeah, you did make a Dayton run.
I made a Dayton
midnight handoff.
I went to Twin Peaks for the first time in my life.
Oh, the like fake Hooters.
It's like you go in there and it's like this like Disney-fied rustic like
Hooters.
It looks like you're in some sort of national park lodge, but it's really a Hooters.
Yeah.
I'd never been in there. Cold beer, and they actually had a pretty ridiculous bourbon selection, including their own Blanton's. They had their own barrel pick Blanton's in Ohio.
Can I let you in on something? Like
I don't know.
Everybody has their own barrel pick now.
Do you?
I'm surprised I don't.
You know what? Let's see if we get one.
Let's see if we
Miko
can.
Rantanen
I
did
do.
not
By the way,
score,
I
but
do
he had
have
an assist.
See,
I do have a bottle that I should share with you guys, and nobody knows where it's coming from, other than it's in Bardstown, Kentucky.
Ooh.
The name of it, it's excellent, and I might go home and have a nightcap and
Chris
go back and watch this.
Chris gave me some like super secret Canadian like Sazerac. It looks like a Blanton's bottle, but instead of a horse, it has a moose.
Oh yeah, the moose.
Yeah,
that one.
We gave one of those.
It's
away
very good.
Okay,
at our birthday last year.
Yeah, okay, well,
it's really good.
We got attention, Joe.
I don't remember.
Thanks, gents.
Anyway, all right, Mike.
I'll talk to you.
We'll talk to you
in Ottawa. Remember, I got to catch a bus usually. So.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. Let us know.
We'll be vamping.
We'll be vamping on Thursday night because we got the Panthers. We got the Panthers picking as well.
The only problem with that, gents, is there is no quick way to the hotel when you're in Canada.
No,
we're not in Ottawa officially.
We'll figure something out.
We'll do something.
We will touch base. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you, Mike. That's Mike Maniscalco, ladies and gentlemen. See, look at that. See the fancy camera? I took it off the group mode and into single mode, and it went right back to me. Are these not amazing?
I'm very happy for you.
Are these cameras not amazing? I love these things.
I'm extremely happy for you.
All right, let's go to a 252.
Go Canes. Not go Heels. Oops. Bye.
He's just taking a shot at Tar Heels. All right, let's go to 469.
Two things, baby. Puck don't lie, and the Hurricanes are now 12-0 at home in their last games 1 and 2 in the first round. You come to the loudest barn in hockey, and the Canes are going to give it to you, baby. Let's fucking go. Go Canes. Go America.
Let's go to 919.
What a win by the Canes. Wow. I think the Senators outplayed us tonight, but the Hurricanes managed to win it out. Freddie was good. He wasn't great. I thought the Senators' goal was better. But hey, this is what playoff hockey's about. Get it done. Go Canes.
Yeah, man. Just get it done. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this OG After Dark. As always, thank you to our friends at Bloomin' Blinds. You can check them out online at bloominblinds.com. Let Chris know you're an OG listener and you heard about Bloomin' Blinds on this After Dark, and they got something for you. A little bit of housekeeping before we get at it.
Housekeeping.
So this is our show for Tuesday, because it is now officially Tuesday, 1:02 in the morning on Tuesday. We will be back.
Club's going up on a Tuesday.
We will be back on Wednesday for a normal podcast. Our friend Mike Kay of the Charlotte Observer will join us ahead of the NFL draft. See what the Panthers might be or might not be doing ahead of the draft. And obviously, we'll continue to talk about the Canes and get ready for Game 3 against the Ottawa Senators up in Ottawa, which gets us to what we'll be doing on Thursday. Typically, we go live on Thursdays at 2 o'clock, but because we have the Canes action and we have the NFL draft happening at the same time, we're just going to go live then.
Perfect.
Luke DeCock will join us.
Love it.
We might have our senior OG Canes correspondent.
Okay.
Roy might join us.
Who's he rooting for?
In what sense?
I mean, he's trying to be a Senator.
Well, why would he? Oh, okay. Okay. On that note, 5 stars only. 5 stars only. Positive vibes only.
Logical to me.
No, you're right, yeah. Hey, thanks to Mikey P for updating the graphics. Now we just need the extremely online pig to sell over at our basic shop, which you can go to ogtrianglemediashop.com. Again, that's ogtrianglemediashop.com. But on that note, we are out. 5 stars only, positive vibes only. We will see you on Wednesday.